What have you seen in practice so far? I know it's limited and without a few football players, but what have you seen so far? Just
It's been good. We've had a few new bodies who've been able to get some reps that we needed to be able to get, and I've liked our focus. I liked our intensity to this point. I've been able to also get some young guys, so some varsity reps who will probably play some JV for me this year, but just to get a good look at them. It's been a good 2 weeks, honestly. Without some of the football guys, just to be able to, to work with some of my younger guys and some of my guys who don't have a lot of experience.
what do you see as your team's expectations for this year?
I'm very excited about it. We graduate 6 seniors off last year's team, and a lot of them who had gone through the program, for the duration. And so it's just exciting because we've got some new bodies, some new kids in the school, and we've got some young kids coming off a good JV schedule last year, who've grown some, who've gotten better, who had real good summers, who I think are going to be able to immediately contribute at the varsity level. So you mix those two together. I'm really excited about this week to be able to mix those two together. We've got more depth, boys in the program, middle school and up, and the whole schooling we've ever had. And so that's going to help with practice too. It's going to make practice a lot more fun because we're going to be able to compete.
You said you graduated 6 players.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was Region Player of the Year.
Right.
What kind of holes do those create?
Well, there's always positives that you can get out of the negatives. I mean, Adam Patrick scored almost 2,000 points for us in his career. 4-year starter, great player. We, in the situation we were in last year, had to run a lot through him. I think down the stretch it made us predictable. I had to do it over again. I'd have done the same thing. I'd run everything through him again. But so I'm hopefully now what I'm excited about is I think we can be a little better rounded, maybe not quite as predictable as the season goes on. We got some skill sets of some kids that have really worked on their skills during the off season, who I'm looking forward to seeing how that transfers to the varsity level as well. So the biggest thing is going to be the voids in leadership from the kids who graduated, who's going to step up, who's going to be who's going to be that leader on the floor. We've got some talent coming back, and we really do, and we got some depth. I think we're going to be pretty athletic as a team as I've had, probably 1 through 10. Just see how that's going to transfer the dynamic, the chemistry. So much of that is so important when it comes to how good your team's going to be in January and February.
But then, which names come to mind as far as filling in those roles?
Sure. Well, Landon Moss is our returning starter. Started a lot of games for us last year. He scored the most points of anybody we got coming back. He's grown some, and he's one of the ones I was talking about who's really working on his game, who's going to do a lot for us. He averaged double figures last year. We'll do a lot for him this year. More of a point than he is a 2, but a good size guard, a good shooting guard, a kid with a lot of different skill. CJ Hollis, who wasn't healthy the whole year last year, had a great year. Actually had a great summer in summer ball. Had a great year in football this year. Really grown up. Going to provide. He showed this summer that he's going to be able to provide a lot of leadership. Can score points in bunches. Drayden Ray's a returning senior. Didn't play a lot of minutes last year as a junior. Who had another great summer. Who I'm looking forward to see what he can do. So and I could list 6 or 7 more of kids who have the potential to break out this year that I'm excited about.
All right. Well, then, looking at region play this year, one of the toughest regions in SCI's 2A.
Oh yeah. I would say by far the toughest region in SCI's 2A.
You've got a semifinal team in Oak Brook,
right.
A finals team at Spartanburg
Sure.
Day School. Adding another team,
Sure.
Shannon Forest. So therefore, wins are going to be even more important trying to get those berths in the tournament.
Sure.
What are you looking forward to, or what are you expecting out of this region this year?
It's as good since we've started the basketball program here, it's as strong a conference top to bottom as we've ever been involved with, and it's not even close. I was talking to somebody about that the other day, about how good our conference is going to be. How you've got some college level kids sprinkled throughout the whole conference. You bring Shannon Forest in, who's going to be very competitive, who's going to be very well coached, who's going to fit right in. You've got a Greenwood team that's going to be very improved over previous years. And again, the 3 teams right here in the city are going to night in and night out battle. It's going to be a lot of fun. in the way the playoffs work, the way you finish in the region is going to have a lot to do with your run in the playoffs last year. We finished third in a tough conference last year and ended up having to open the state tournament against a region champion. And so the potential's there to where I think we could be very competitive, as good a team as we've had here by the time we get to February. And that could be a first place finish. That could be a third or fourth place finish, just because the region's going to be so competitive. So.
Let's talk about what you've seen in practice so far and just how they've responded to just starting the new season.
Well, we came out with a lot of energy and enthusiasm. The attitude has been great. We've had a coachability attitude where we wanted to go and learn and get better, and they've been pushing each other and holding each other accountable. I've liked the effort and the teamwork that I've seen thus far.
What does that do as far as your expectations for the year?
We're still a young team, but everybody is sophomores basically,
Mm-hmm.
so they have a year of experience under their belt. So and we're pretty big, so I expect us to be competitive with who we play. We lost a lot of close games last year, and overtime games, maybe 6 or 7 that were really, really close. And since we've been in those situations last year, I think that we'll handle them a lot better this year.
Talk about some of the talent that graduated last year and what you've lost as far as those players.
We had one senior graduate, and she was like the Energizer Bunny, just wide open, never got tired, just a lot of leadership and effort was never a question. We lost one player that had an underclassman that just didn't come back and play. We have brought in somebody moved in, and she's young, an 8th grader, so I have 2 8th graders come up this year, and but they are very talented.
Who do you see kind of step up and play and take over the leadership role?
Okay. My point guard this year is a senior, and I've had her on the team since the 8th grade, and she is the leader on the floor. She runs the show, and she knows exactly what I want. She's an extension of me on the floor, and she does a good job of getting them in the right offense or the right defense and making sure we're all on the same page on the floor and they're working as a unit, and she does a really good job of that.
All right, and just looking forward into the region this year, adding an extra team. We have Shannon Forest in there now. What do you look forward to, or what do you expect from this region?
Going in, I believe that all the teams are very similar. We may be a little bit bigger than some of the other teams, but I think as far as competitiveness of the region and talent in the region, it's across the board. It seems to be very, very close. So I think you've got to come in each and every night ready to play, competitive. I think we will be physical. We're big, and we're pretty fast to be big. So it's going to be some good competition.
All right.